A very good morning. Terrific Tuesday today. Welcome to today's episode of Morning Well. Three things that we will talk about. What is mRNA technology and how does it work? Hedge funds disclosures and Citi's weak dollar call. Another round of positive COVID-19 vaccine news sent stocks higher and suddenly Dow's 30,000 is on the horizon. An interim analysis of Moderna's vaccine candidate showed 94.5% efficacy, which rightfully raised hopes about the pandemic ending in the next few months. The Dow was higher, the S&P 500 rose 1.1%, the tech-heavy Nasdaq also was higher by 0.8%. While investors are optimistic about the future, the current surge in COVID-19 cases make for a very uncomfortable present. California governor announced the closure of indoor restaurants and gyms in large parts of the state. The biggest gainers on Monday were economically sensitive companies that have struggled with people stuck at home. So cruise operator Carnival was higher 9.5%, United Airlines was higher 5.2%, ExxonMobil was also higher by 5.8%. Shares of Moderna, the star of yesterday, surged about 9.6%. Smaller companies climbed as well. The Russell 2000 index was higher by 1.9% to bring its gains for the month to more than 15%. Investors in recent days have bet that larger cyclical companies and smaller businesses alike will have profits boosted once vaccines are rolled out and economic activity resumes. Yet unlike last week, when shares of inexpensively priced value stocks sharply outperformed their growth peers, investors didn't shed shares of some high-flying technology companies. So Apple was higher, Facebook was higher both by 0.6%, Slack was higher by 1.3%. Some tech companies did decline though, Netflix and Zoom were lower, but the tech rally also gave a little bit of a mixed signal of a cautious optimism that the market is taking out of yesterday's development. The dollar fell against the entire G10 basket with the Kiwi among the best performers. Oil climbed and gold inched lower. Asian equity futures are slightly in the green. The yield on the 10-year treasury was higher by only 1 basis point. Typically on a cyclical rotation day, you would have expected yields to go up much higher. Again, another sign of cautious optimism that the market is taking out of yesterday's development. So it was all about Moderna yesterday. Moderna said that its shot found to be 94.5% effective and has longer shelf life than anticipated, saying it's stable for 30 days at refrigerator temperatures. Moderna, like Pfizer, uses messenger ribonucleic acid technology. So I thought, we'll spend a little time to understand what this is about. The most traditional methods of vaccine development introduce the body to either an inactivated or weakened form of a virus. The immune system responds by producing antibodies that recognize particular proteins of the virus. Those antibodies could fight future infections as long as the virus doesn't evolve. But mRNA vaccines take a novel approach that has never been licensed for human use. Messenger RNA is genetic material made of nucleic acid, the same stuff as our DNA, that travels throughout our cells, giving final instructions on which proteins to build to form the body's cellular architecture. So step by step on how this works. A vaccine containing snippets of viral mRNA, a molecule with instructions for making proteins, is injected. The scientists pack the mRNA inside a slippery pod made of lipids so that it can slide into the cells. Once inside the cells, the mRNA finds the ribosomes. They are the machinery of building all proteins in the body. Ribosomes then start making the COVID spike proteins based on the viral mRNA message. Spike proteins, which is what we see in the coronavirus images, coat the surface of the virus and are harmless on their own. They are considered a good vaccine target, which is also called an antigen. So once this happens, an immune cell perceives the spike proteins as if the body had been infected. It kicks off a sequence of events that result in the creation of antibodies and other defenses. So this is the method, and in theory, this method would allow scientists to make vaccines faster. So instead of weeks, a candidate could be ready for test in hours or days. This vaccine candidate would also be more flexible and durable against germs that tend to evolve through mutation, such as the coronaviruses, the influenza, and the HIV. This could help a universal vaccine that could work against multiple strains of the virus, is what general analysis says. So that is some details about how the messenger RNA technology works. Yesterday we spoke about the 13F filings of hedge funds. So they are disclosing third quarter investment moves. Some of the highlights: Viking adds TSMC, exits Uber and cuts Amazon stake. Berkshire added stakes in AbbVie, Pfizer and Bristol Myers and Merck and exited Costco. Tiger Global adds Snowflake, exits New Relic, and Maverick takes new stakes in Blackstone, GameStop and GoPro. With all this vaccine news that's going around, one asset that won't feel so great after the vaccines is the US dollar. Citi expects the greenback to begin a drop of as much as 20% in 2021 should inoculations become widely distributed. Strategists at the bank believe that such a development would check off all our bear market signposts, allowing the dollar to follow a similar path to that it experienced from the early to mid 2000s, when the currency started a multi-year downturn. The Bloomberg dollar index has fallen about 11% from its March peak. That's the update. Stay safe and healthy, everyone, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.